Oh my God, I was on mute. Honestly, apparently I need to hire an IT department. Hello, good evening. Hello, hello. Welcome to my craft room. My name is Tina Bickford. I clearly don't know how to use the laptop here. My name is Tina Bickford. I am an independent demonstrator. I'm looking at the weird, the light is over my head. So I look like I have weird hair here. I just have it up in a bun. Anyway, I'm so distracted. Anyway, so my name is Tina Bickford. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! Here in the US. I am located in New Hampshire, in New England. You know, like the timeout corner of the United States. And apparently we are in timeout because we're getting all of this snow and it's just nonstop. It's a storm. We're having a storm like every other day. So I don't know. I'm just ready for spring, I guess. So if you're here watching live, leave me a comment and let me know where you're watching from. And if you are here watching the replay, let me know that. Also, let me know where you're watching from. Yeah, so tonight is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. When I did my video on Sunday, I had some video issues that were really frustrating me. So so my internet provider came out today and hopefully has fixed the problem, and I don't have any problems with my video tonight, so fingers crossed. So tonight's fun fold is one that's actually inspired by a woman named Heidi Collins. Her YouTube channel, Facebook page, all of that is called Onigo Stamping. You can give her a like or a follow unless you already are. So she does a lot of really cool fun folds and, you know, really easy cards, and she does a lot with card sketches. So if you're, you know, if you don't know what a card sketch is, you should go over and check her channel out. So I'm going to flip down to the desk camera, and I'm going to actually I haven't cut any of the paper for tonight because I wanted to I haven't done that for a little while. I have been starting with cut pieces already. So I thought that I would do the cutting of the cardstock. So let me just switch down to the desk camera. Bear with me because you know how this happens all the time. Okay. Better. Okay. So I also have to remember to mute my laptop because if I don't, I hear this echo during the video when I switch down to the desk camera. So, all right, we are going to be using Granny Apple Green, and we're going to be using the 6x6 Designer Series paper from the terrific Toadstools. Now, this paper is really cool. Watching from St. Louis, where, oh yeah, it's snowing in St. Louis. Yeah, we're getting that. I think that's coming our way tomorrow, Jennifer. Well, that's what we're getting. So we have snow coming tomorrow, and then we have another bigger storm Saturday night into Sunday. And I think this is one they're talking about maybe up to 15 inches of snow. I don't know that yet. I'll be hiding in my house. So it's all right. I'll be hiding right here in my craft room. So we are going to use Granny Apple Green for our cardstock. I'm trying to pick up from a color that's in this designer series paper that is not like I tend to lean more towards the pinks anyway, because I do love pinks. So I was just trying to lean into a color that's not, you know, typical. Oh, I've got all kinds of paper here. So this paper is really cool. There are tons of different designs. I've been cutting into this. Tons of different designs, like little dotted one. Oh, that's really kind of freaky on the camera, huh? Yeah. Ooh. And then like swirls and all kinds of stripes and just all kinds of really cool patterns in this pack. I'm not a huge fan of mushrooms. I've said that before. I don't eat them. But for some reason, these mushrooms are super cute. And I just had to have the paper. So, and the stamp set and the punch. Yes, I had to have it all. Okay, so let's get started. You're like, Tina, can you just make the card? All right, we're going to start with our 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And we're going to cut that in half. So we're going to cut it in half along the 11-inch side. So we're going to cut it at 5.5 inches. So I know this is hard to see with my ring light, but we're just going to take our cardstock. We're going to line it up with that 5.5-inch mark there, right up against this edge of our paper trimmer. And we're going to take our cutting blade, which is our dark colored blade, our dark gray. We're going to take this and just cut up towards that. I like to cut up towards this because it gives the paper something to push up against. So my paper isn't going to shift on me while I'm cutting. Okay, so that's the first step. We're just going to start with cutting our cardstock in half. So we end up with one sheet that is 5.5 by 8.5. And then we need our other piece of cardstock. So we're going to call this card base A, and I'm going to call this card base B. And I will have a project sheet for this. I do not have it yet. So this card base B needs to be 5.5 inches by 8 inches. So we're just going to line that up along the 8.5-inch side. And I'm going to bring my cutting blade down and just cut right up towards that. Okay. We're just going to set that aside. And now we're going to cut some of our designer series paper. So with the designer series paper, we're going to be putting a piece of designer series paper on the front, and then we're going to be putting some on the inside. So all of it's going to be 5.25 inches because we're going to have that 1/8 of an inch on the top and the bottom. So this designer series paper is directional. And by that, I know you all know what I'm talking about, but by that, it means that I want to be very careful that I'm not cutting my pieces so that they're in all different directions on my card. So I'm going to be very specific about the way I cut this. If you're using a cardstock, maybe like this, that's not so much, I guess this one probably could be directional. But if you're using one that's like that, like this, you know, polka dot one here, it doesn't really matter which way you cut it because you can mix and match how you put them on there. But this one, I do want to pay attention to how I put it on. So I need one sheet that's for my card front. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is going to be lengthwise this way. So 5.25 from top to bottom here. So I'm just going to rotate it and I'm going to cut it at my 5.25. And then I'm going to come back, and your standard card front in the US is it's 4.25 by 5.5. So you're just going to make it 1/4 inch shorter. So for the 4.25 inch side, I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. So this designer series paper, this piece measures 4 by 5.25. And then I'm going to need also to cut this one, same thing from top to bottom. I want it to be 5.25. So I'm just I'm just cutting it in the same direction I cut this one here. And then I need 3 pieces, and these pieces need to be 1 3/4 inches wide. So I'm just going to cut 3 at 1 3/4. Now, because this is a pattern, I want to make sure I keep my pattern in order. So I want to make sure that I keep all 3 pieces that I cut in order so that the picture on the designer series paper is the same and it's not all mixed and matched. So I'm just going to cut the second one, and then I'm going to cut the third one. There. Now, before I take these off, just in case I get them all mixed up, I am going to just number them. And how I'm going to number them is it's got 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to put the numbers on the back so I don't mix them up. 1, 2, and 3. And again, if you're working with a designer series paper where it doesn't matter, then you don't need to take that step. I do. Now this pen is one of those Flexion pens. It's actually erasable pen. I love these pens. Boom. I can write and I can erase. I'm not going to erase what I wrote on the back there because I'm going to glue it to the cardstock and nobody's going to see it. Okay. So before I put my paper trimmer away, I need one more piece of cardstock. I need a piece of white, and that white needs to be 5 1/4. This is already 5 1/4. It's going to be the same size as these 3 panels, so 1 3/4. So there. And we will probably cut some more paper, some more white for our front when we get to that step. Right now, oops, I haven't put my paper trimmer away yet. We're going to do some scoring. So we're going to put this designer series paper and white cardstock away, and we're going to score our card bases. So we'll start with our 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. You can see that one is longer than the other. So the 8 1/2, I'm going to take this one and just score it right in half along that 8 1/2 inch side at 4 1/4. Give that a good score, and we're going to fold it and burnish it. There. And then we're going to take our 5 1/2 by 8, and along the 8 inch side, we're going to score it at 2 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. Now comes the tricky part. We're going to take this piece, and it doesn't matter if you do it from this side or if you do it from this side, because it's the same. It's scored, it's 8 inches across and it's scored every 2 inches. So it's going to be the same either way. But once you pick your direction, you got to stick with it. Okay. So I'm just going to put it in my paper trimmer at the 5 1/2 inch side. And I'm going to put it right where the 3/4 of an inch is. So I'm going to line that right up with the 3/4 of an inch. And with this paper trimmer, I can also see down here, I'm lined up with 3/4 of an inch. So just in case you weren't paying attention and you were kind of crooked or, in there, you can see where your 3/4 inches down here also. And what's great is there's actually a line that runs down there. So it's easy for you to see that you're lined up all the way. Okay. Here, we are going to cut. We're going to cut from the end down to that first 2 inch score line. Okay. So I'm just going to move over to the side here. Come right down to that 2 inch. Make sure I'm on it. I am. And then I'm going to slide this over. We just did that. Slide this over to the 4 3/4 inch mark. And we're going to do the same thing. So you're basically going to have 3/4 of an inch in on each side. So you're doing the same thing, cut right down to that 2-inch mark. You need to go just a hair further. There. Now we're going to rotate this so that our cut panel is here, and we're actually going to remove this middle section. So we're going to cut along the 2-inch score line from cut to cut. Okay. I'm just going to line that up and bring it down and pull that out. And this is the piece that you end up with, something that looks like this. Okay. All right, let me just set that aside. Grab my office chair. My office chair is what I use to set everything on while I'm working on this area here. Okay, so we're going to take our card base. We're going to glue some pieces to our card base. Now, we're going to die cut this, so I want the glue to dry that I'm using. So we're going to glue some pieces to this. We're going to set it aside to dry, and we're going to glue some pieces to this while this is drying. All right, grab my glue. We are going to adhere our 4 by 5 1/4 inch designer series paper to our card front. This part is important. You can only put glue around the outside. You don't want any glue on the inside. Okay. And trust me, I actually did that twice when I was making some alternates, because it's just natural for me to go on the inside, but don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Just line that up. Nice even border around all 4 sides. Gentle press. You don't want to smush that glue out. Let it just adhere. Okay. We're going to open the card up. And we are going to take the piece that we labeled number 1, and we're going to glue that right on the inside of the card base, right up against this left-hand side. This you can put glue all over. Okay. And then we're just going to line that up. So we're just going to do an even border, top, side, and bottom. One nice even border, like so. And we're going to set that aside because we're going to die cut through that. So we're going to set that aside so that glue is nice and dry. We're going to bring this piece in, and we are going to take our other 2 panels of designer series paper, and we're going to take our number 2 panel and we're going to glue that here, and our number 3 panel is going to go here. Okay. And like so. And you're leaving an even border around all 4 sides of the designer series paper between the score lines and the edges. And a little bit of glue on my finger. I think I did pretty good. I haven't gotten glue on me until now, so that's pretty good. All right, so throw that one on there. Nice and even. Even borders, even Steven. Yay. All right, look, see, glue. I don't know, how do I do that? How did I do that? Did you guys see? Okay. Now we're going to take our white panel, and this panel is going to be our inside sentiment. Now, when you do this, if you want, you could always put a panel on the back. If you thought maybe this was too narrow, you could put another piece of designer series paper here and just put a panel on the back. Or if you're using white cardstock, you could just use the back as where you would put your sentiment and sign the card. But I like this little panel on the inside. So we're going to just use, let's see, what did I want to use for that? So I picked from the mixed labels set. You can see that. I'm trying to hold it at an angle so it doesn't reflect off that ring light. And I'm using this this sentiment down here that just says, I'm so glad we're friends. I've already pulled that out and I've mounted that on my block. So I'm going to pull in so I'm going to actually pull in my Melon Mambo to pull in some of the pink from this designer series paper. And this is a red cling mount, so you can't see through it. So I just, after I stamp it, I just kind of give it a look to make sure. I don't know if you can see, like there's there. So you can see, because it's shiny in all the areas, that I have enough ink coverage on there. So that's what you're looking for. And then I'm just going to come in, hover over the top, gentle, straight down, hold a little bit of pressure, and straight up. Okay. And then we're going to flip that over and we're going to adhere that to this. Oh, you know what? Let's just close that up. And so, funny story. I woke up this morning and I went to take a shower this morning, and I don't know why I looked at my hands and I had a big marker spot all across my hand. I don't even know like how or when I even did that. I mean, obviously, right before I went to bed. I was playing in my craft room right before I went to bed last night. Okay, so we're going to set this aside now and let this glue dry. This glue's all dry, and we are going to do our thing. So I am using a die from the Nested Essentials. I'll just show you what those look like. These, so you get 4 different sizes of 3 different shapes. I'm using the rounded rectangle for this card, but you guys stick around to the end because I didn't just keep it to a simple shape. I'll just say that. There's your little teaser. Wait until you see the cards I did. So I will use the 2. I'm going to use one. So I'm going to use the largest one to do the die cutting that I want to do here. And the next one down, I think I'm going to use to put a sentiment or a picture, an image on the front. Okay. So let's grab these. Move some of this stuff out of my way. I am going to bring in my stamp cut and emboss machine. And we are going to, we're die cutting. So we need base 1, then die adapter 2, and then we need 2 of our number 3 cutting plates. Okay. So I'm going to take the one that's all weathered and worn. So I'm going to put that one down first. I'm going to lay my card down with the card front up, and I'm going to place my die somewhere. I'm going to center it definitely from side to side, wherever you decide, whether you want to place it a little bit more towards the top, towards the center, wherever you want to place it. But just make sure that it is centered from side to side. And remember, where we're cutting, we did put glue all around the edge of this, so you don't want to get it too close to the top. So we'll keep it right around here. Looks good to me. Nice and straight. And then we're just going to give that a cut. Now, when I'm cutting through this many layers, so it's a layer of DSP plus the cardstock, and then over on this edge, there's also another layer of DSP. So I'm going to roll this through just a couple of times. Sorry about the wiggling. Oops. One more time through, just for good measure. Move this out of the way. Okay. Now move this out of the way. Grab that. Okay. So we now have this piece that we die cut out of this. You can separate these two. We're not going to use this piece here. We're just going to use this piece. We'll just set them aside for right now. Come in here and I'm just, because I rolled that through the die cutter, you know, flat, I like to give this another good burnish. And then we're going to bring our card base 2 back and we're going to do some folding. So we'll start over here on this side. We're actually going to fold this one up and over. So this makes a valley fold. Burnish really well. And then this one here is going to be a mountain. So we're just going to go ahead and burnish that one also. And then these tabs are also going to be mountains. So these are actually going to fold back like this. And I do like to give those a good burnish also. Yay. So you end up with something that looks like this. All right. We are going to now come in with our card base, take our card base B, and on this, the full panel, this is the side that has our white cardstock with our sentiment. This panel, we're going to put glue here. And you can cover the whole thing. You can go from edge to edge right in that 2-inch section though. Don't go outside of that. Don't cross over the score line. There. And what we're going to do, I'm going to hold it like this so you can see. This is the top of the card. This is the bottom of the card. We're going to adhere this to this, but we're going to line it up exactly with this edge. Okay. So I'm going to just come in here, line that up exactly. That green glue gives you a little wiggle room. Not green glue. It's not green. The Tombow, the multi-purpose glue, gives you a little bit of room to wiggle it around. And you can see it's lined up exactly edge to edge. There. So now you have just this kind of card here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to fold this back. And we have our tabs. I know you can't see those very well, but our tabs are going to be flat like that. We're going to leave those tabs sticking right out like that. I'm just going to rotate this because I'm right-handed, so I need to do my glue right-handed. So I'm going to just rotate it, and we're just going to put glue just on the tabs. Don't go off of the tabs, and don't get too close to the edge of the tabs because you don't want that glue smushing out. Nobody likes smushy glue. Okay, and I just rotated it back so that I can actually see this now. But this is just because I had to put the glue on with my right hand because I get covered in glue even when I do it with my right hand. I can't even imagine what would happen if I tried it with my left hand. Okay, so with this all folded down now, we're just going to come in here and close the card. Oh, hello, Louise. Thank you for joining. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and press that. Let that glue hold real quick, just like that. And then we're going to come back in with the piece that we had, the piece that we pulled out. So we separated both of these pieces. We're just going to use the green piece. So with the card closed, we're going to put glue. So just in this open window here, we're going to put glue only on this section here. Okay, let me just show you. I'll try to get this up close. So I know it's hard with that patterned paper, but it's just going to be this section here, just inside the window. Okay. It's very hard to see. This patterned paper is very hard to see. So I'm just going to come in, put that glue there, and then I'm just going to fit this right back into the hole it came out of. And I'm just going to press right over here and just let that glue hold like so. Yay. And then our card opens like this, just like that. Isn't that cool? Now we have to do the front because a great fold, but there's nothing on the front. So I'm going to take a piece of scrap white cardstock, and I'm just going to use, I'm going to use that next die down from the Nested Essentials. So we used the larger one to make this hole. I'm just going to make use the smaller one, and I'm just going to die cut that real quick. I'll do that right off camera. You don't need to see me just roll that through. Do that. Okay. Pull that in. And we're going to do some stamping on that. Now you could also, you could take, okay, a board game. Interesting. You're making a board game, Louise? So you could take this piece that we cut out, and you could use the smaller die and just put that on there so that it would have a little ring around it, a frame around it. But I wanted a different image, one that was more of a focal point. So we're going to do some mushrooms. We're going to do, let me see. So this is from the Terrific Toadstools. So we're going to actually use, I'm going to put this sentiment on the front. I think I'm going to put the sentiment on the front, and then we're going to do the two bigger mushrooms here. Okay. So and maybe I'll even do, I haven't even used this one yet. A little mound. Maybe we'll do that too. I am just getting wild and crazy with this, huh? Oh, Lord. All right. Mount that. Let's grab some crumb cake and put our mound on there. Just right at the bottom. Just like so. Close that ink pad. All right, let's put our stems on. So I am using the little bitty baby stem for the little small mushroom. That guy there. And I think this mushroom's going to be Melon Mambo. So I'm just going to stamp him right on there. Now I'm stamping him off. I'm calling it a hem. I don't know why. So I'm stamping this mushroom off the tag because the bigger one I'm gonna actually do a punch and pop that up on dimensionals, I think. All right. So let's put our bigger stem on here. Actually, do I want to use that one? No. You know what? I'm going to use a different stem. I'm going to use the other tall stem, but not the fat one. Okay. So just I'm going to use this smaller one. So, love playing board games. Oh, I can't wait to see it, Louise. That sounds like fun. All right. So now let's put this stem here. And then I am going to take my Granny Apple Green. I'm going to grab another piece of scrap white paper, basic white, and I am going to stamp my large mushroom on this scrap piece. So with the punch, remember we did this once before on one of my other videos. With the punch, you actually have to stamp the mushroom upside down on the edge that you're going to come in with the punch, just because of the way the punch is designed. So we're just going to put that there. Close that up. Grab our punch. And I'm just going to line that up in there. And this punch does not leave the white edge around the image. So you get a nice complete image without the white border. That. All right. I'm going to put that on after. So we're going to come in here And I am going to put this guy on here. Yeah, let's use dimensionals, because why not? Grab my dimensionals 4 and put those right on. One on just each corner is good. I wouldn't bother putting one in the middle just because it's not really a very big tag. If I had a larger piece, I would definitely put one in the middle so that it didn't droop and sag, but that's not really going to happen here. So, all right. So I'm just going to center this guy right here on the front. And then we are going to pop our mushroom up also. And you can see I use scrap. I actually stamped a birdhouse on this paper and I'm using it because you know why? No one's going to see it. So I'm just going to come in here. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to, and I told myself not to forget to do this, and I forgot to do it. So let me just do it. So I'm going to take this, the way that the mushrooms are on here, the stems are actually supposed to go right up underneath. So because I'm putting this on with dimensionals, it's not going to look like that. So I'm actually going to just do a little stamp right on that little guy so that you can just make out a hint of the stem there so that when I put it on here, I'll line it up with that stem and it will look like it is underneath as it should be. There, and line that up. And it is okay if this guy goes off the side also, right there. And then you can put embellishments and stuff on here if you want. I don't really think I'm going to do that because there's an awful lot going on with that designer series paper. I am going to put a sentiment on the front though, that little just a little thank you. So I'm just going to take a die from the Greetings of the Seasons dies, and just so that I have a little tag that I can use that little tag, and I'm just going to stamp that guy. So I think I'm going to stamp this guy in the Granny Apple Green. Like that. Just a little thank you. And dimensionals. With those on there. I am living dangerously with this ink open. Tell you. And then I'm just going to put this down here. So if you're going to put a sentiment tag on there, this is moving. So you want to make sure that you don't put anything like over here. You can put it on here and just not put any adhesive or dimensionals on this side of it if you wanted to. I'm just going to throw it right down here in the corner. That little guy there. And then there we have it. There's our card. Opens like that, stands for display, super cute, cute. So this works great with nested dies if you want to do, like a framed image there. And I'll show you, I'll show you some of my example cards, my sample cards. And I do, like I said, I am working on the project sheet for this. I don't have it done yet, so that will be coming. So I did this one. And I don't even know. I think this was an old paper pumpkin kit stamp or something like that I did. And I printed that out with my computer. And then I just use Pool Party, and this is some retired designer series paper, and I just put a little tag on this one so you can actually open it that way. And then I did this one. So this is using that beautiful mixed florals designer series paper with the granny apple green, and this is in that same set, the mixed florals with the little ladybug, and this one opens the same way, like that, like that. And then, because I can't just do simple shapes, I did one with a birdhouse. So this is using I don't remember the name of this paper, forgive me, pecan pie for the cardstock. So I just did the pecan pie. When I die cut this, I got my birdhouse shape. So I took all of the other dies from that country birdhouse and built up my birdhouse with other pieces. So this piece right here is the piece that I die cut out of the front of the card. And then this guy just opens like this. Like that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. Okay, the last one, my favorite one. Oh my gosh, you guys. Check it out. I was so excited about this one. Now, this one was hard because the butterfly actually goes right to the edges. So I did have a little bit of, glue over here. And then I came back in and I put some glue under the designer series paper here because I wanted to make sure that stayed. But check it out. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous. Thank you, Auntie Lisa. Thank you. Love you. And there are our cards. So I'll have I'm actually, so the pictures that I took for the project sheet are actually this card here. So this is actually going to be what the project sheet is on, this one here. So yay. All right, let me flip back to the other camera and see how we do. I am so excited. My video was so good. So good. All right. No hiccups. Let me just switch back. Yay, here I am. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Love, love, love this fold. So this was inspired by Heidi Collins from Onigo Stamping. She is fun and she does a lot of really cool cards and with like card sketches and stuff like that. So check her out. And yeah, so I hope you like this card. Thank you so much, you guys. You're so like kind words. I'm just reading all of the comments. I'm loving it, loving it. So I will be back on Sunday. We are getting another storm. Hi, Mom. Is Dad watching? Have you been here the whole time and you're just now saying hello? Really? So I'll be back on Sunday, but we are getting we're getting a storm. So I'm hoping that the internet stays stable and I'll be able to have my live stream. But if not, for some reason, maybe I'll just record a video and make sure I can get it uploaded as soon as I have internet. So cross your fingers that I keep my internet good. And if that's the case, I'll be back Sunday, Eastern Standard Time with something else. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I never know. This one I just pulled out of my head. Oh, so I have, when I say pulled it out of my head, I actually pulled it out of a book that I have. So I have, please, I have a scrapbook that I have filled with fun folds. I have all of the fun folds in here, and I have like samples of all of the fun folds that are in here. And I just pulled one out I opened the book randomly and said, this is the one I'm going to do. And that's the one we did. So fun. I'm so glad that you guys liked this card. And thank you so much. If you're watching over on YouTube and you're not already subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button and you subscribe to my channel. It'll help me a lot. And if you want notifications when I go live, that's what that little bell is for. So click on that little bell and you'll get a notification when I go live. Like my videos, share my videos. You're helping me out a lot by doing that. Yeah, so I will see you all hopefully on Sunday.